The Race and Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.
Hi there, welcome along to the first of this week's Royal Ascot Racing Post Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and kicking over the first day's card will be Nick Watts, Johnny Ward, and from Paddy Power, Rob Catterson. We're going to hear from the connections of some of the big runners as well, and trying to work out who the going is going to suit, because this is not one of those Royal Ascots that's going to be run under blazing sunshine, unfortunately. So there's all sorts of puzzles, but we will take the card in chronological order after we've had a very quick look at who is going to be top jockey and top trainer on the week. Rob Catterson, I guess Ryan Moore's pretty short, isn't he, for top jockey?
Yeah, no surprise there, and he's in great form as well, having a treble at the weekend. 1 to 3, he is to be top jockey over the week. 3 to 1, Frankie. Obviously, he's got a great Royal Ascot connection. William Buick's 10 to 1. James Doyle is 12s, and he can have 14s and bigger the rest. What
about top trainer?
Aidan O'Brien's 4 to 7. He was 8 to 13. He's now 4 to 7. John Goslin's 4s. Roger Berrien 13 to 2. Wes Ward got a great Royal Ascot record, but the ground might be coming at the wrong time for his horses. Sir Michael Stout is 10s and 12s bar in the top trainer front.
Nick, can anything stop the Aidan Ryan Moore double there?
No, I wouldn't have said so.
Okay, that'll do. Yeah. What about you, Johnny?
No, I wouldn't have thought so either.
Okay, right, we're done on that then. We'll move on. The Queen Anne 230. This is a competitive heat and no mistake. Rob, how are Paddy Power betting on this one?
Yeah, competitive it is. The Coronation Stakes winner of last year, Arbedra, she's 7 to 2. Of course, she's proven with cut in the ground. Tepin's very easy to back at 4s, the Breeders' Cup Mile winner. Support for Bilardo, he's 9 to 2. Endless Drama for Ger Lyons. What a big day tomorrow it could be for him. He's 13 to 2 with Edda Tariq, who's possibly the best backed horse in the last 24 hours. He was 10s and 14s bar, but competitive. Maybe not the best renewal we've had, but certainly competitive.
Very competitive. And Nick, before you tell us who's going to win, congratulations are in order, I hear. You've just got back from your honeymoon, haven't you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Where did you go?
I went to Scotland.
Nice.
Jesus.
Disappeared to the borders for a week or so. Yeah, it was lovely.
What do you mean, Jesus?
You went to Scotland for your honeymoon?
What's wrong with that?
That's a lovely country.
God.
The Queen went there for a honeymoon, didn't she?
Sounds like a Little Britain sketch.
Not at all. No, I'm sure it was nice, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, it was lovely. It was fantastic. The weather was great, and did loads of nice things. And
how did the big day go?
Yeah, it was fine. There was a few people there from the Racing Post who
Anyone misbehave?
No comment.
Oh, blimey.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay, mate. Well, listen, let's get your thoughts on the Queen Anne then, Nick. Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, I don't like Tepin to start with. We've been here before with these foreign raiders. Able Friend last year, Animal Kingdom a few years ago. They both flopped. Didn't seem to like the straight mile. All a bit alien to them. So I can see why there's weakness behind Tepin. The one I really like is Bilardo. I liked him. I backed him when he won at Newbury last time. And ever since he was second behind Solo in the QE2 last season, he seems to have come back to the form that he showed as a 2-year-old. And any dig in the ground, we know it's going to suit him. We know he acts on the straight mile after that great run behind Solo last season. And he just comes here on a real high, having won at Newbury last time. Probably ground that was faster than ideal for him. I think conditions are absolutely perfect. And for me, 9 to 2, he's the value.
I agree with your every word. Who do you like, Johnny Ward?
I like Bilardo as well. Pretty much endorse everything there that Nick said. And the straight mile obviously is no problem at all. If I were to put up a horse at a bigger price, it would have to be Cougar Mountain. I thought his prep last time behind Stepamok at Leopardstown was very, very encouraging. And of course, he ran a blinder in this race last year behind Solo when he was 16 to 1. I think he's even a good bit bigger than that this time around. Ryan Moore takes the ride. It's a very, very deep renewal, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ran into a place.
And what about Endless Drama, Johnny? A lot of the Irish people are telling me that this Joe Lyons thing will run very well indeed.
He will definitely. The ground, he's like Bilardo, he's by Luke de Vega, and both of them like a bit of cut in the ground. There isn't a great deal between them, obviously, on Lock-in's run, and that was his first run since May of last year, so he's a big, big brute of a horse. You'd imagine he would come on a bit for it. Ger's horses have been absolutely fantastic this season. He obviously is a big runner in the Coventry as well. This horse has plenty going for him, and I think ahead of the week in Ireland, there'll be a lot of support for these horses from other stables. We're just hoping that the likes of him and Kevin can have a good week.
Okay, well, before we talk a little bit more about Tepin, let's hear from Norman Cass, son and assistant to Tepin's trainer Mark.
She's always forwardly placed around the, when you're going around the turn, and she is effective doing that, and that's one of her advantages. But at the same time, she's a pretty special miler, and it doesn't matter how she does it. You know, Julian has been watching the races, what to do tactically. He has a really good idea what he wants to do and where he wants to be and when the switch leads and those type of things. So he's very, very encouraged by it, and that gives us a lot of confidence. We want to create a legacy for her. We want to do something that nobody's ever done before. We feel like this is a horse that could do that, and this is just kind of like an opportunity of a lifetime. It's not about money. When the horse is doing as well as she's doing and you've done the preparation that you're used to, it provides a lot of confidence, so we're confident going into it.
Cause all sorts of sound effects there, weren't there?
I love the sound of
What did you get in the background? There was a helicopter, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Did it sound like someone eating a carrot, possibly? Oh, it
Possibly.
was, yeah. Sam, who did the interview, nods. And was that Tepin eating the carrot? Was it? Blimey. There you go. OK, so we don't rate Tepin, do we, Nick? You're not a fan. Johnny, what about you?
I'd be ruling her out at my Pearl. She's a brilliant mare. She quite possibly has the best form in the race. It's just the issue, as Nick alluded to there, when the horses come over here from the States, they have the straight mile, very different atmosphere.
No Lasix.
No Lasix, of course. So you've all these imponderables. You'd imagine she'd be one that the bookies will take on, but I wouldn't be surprised if she won. She's a very, very good mare. Her rating probably has her as just about the pick of the field, but she'd probably have to have a bit more in hand to be considered like a good thing when you consider all those imponderables.
All right, then, Rob, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to be boring, but I like Bellardo's pretty much on the back of what the lad said. He should be 3 from 3 this year. But Johnny mentioned Cougar Mountain, and there has been a few quid for him in the last few hours. So they're the two for me.
Right, it's a clean sweep for Bellardo in the first. That was easy. Right, 305, the old Cov. How are we betting there, Rob?
OK, Caravaggio bidding to give Aidan his 8th winner in the race. He's the 2-1 market leader. Psychedelic Funk, Ger Lyons at 1 Royal Ascot winner to date. As we said, it could be a big day for him. Memes and Yalta for Mark Johnson are 7s. Mokaris is 10s. And at 16s, but there's been a few quid for Lundy for Joseph and Van der Decken, who's now running in the Godolphin Silts. Both of those have been supported.
Blimey. What do you make of it, Nick Watts?
Psychedelic Funk I quite like. 2 wins at Nace, and one with a cut in the ground last time, won by 6 lengths. And beat a horse, Ambiguity, I think it was, who Caravaggio beat by an identical distance when Caravaggio won last time. I just think the 6 furlong might find Caravaggio out on this kind of ground. I think over 5, I think he's very good. He's got a lot of speed. Just whether he can carry that 3 to 6, I'm not sure. And Psychedelic Funk, the second favourite, like I said, good form lines with the favourite, and with proven form on this kind of surface, I'd give him the vote.
So hard to see why there's such a disparity in their prices for Nick. What about you, Johnny Ward?
I cannot see why there's such a disparity in the prices. If Aidan O'Brien trained Psychedelic Funk, there'd be basically whoever Ryan Moore rode would be favourite of the pair between him and Caravaggio. Ger Lyons is a fantastic trainer. This horse has done absolutely nothing wrong. I'm amazed he hasn't been sold. And in fairness to Sean Jones and Ger Lyons, they buy their horses extremely well. And I was told this horse, they were offered a lot of money for him after he won his debut. Not to mind when he won by 6 lengths at Nace last time. As Nick said, there was yielding to soft ground that day. He's strong. He's by Choisir, a horse with a great record, obviously, at Ascot. I think he's a hell of a lot going for him. I like Caravaggio, but purely because he's whatever price he is, 94, and the other lad is 6 to 1. The 6 furlongs might be a slight question mark because they've always spoken about how much speed he has. But I'm all with Psychedelic Funk here. I think he's a great chance.
OK, Rob, what about you?
Yeah, I've been a big Caravaggio fan. Aidan, before he won the Marble Hill, he was on RTE Racing saying he's possibly the fastest horse they've ever trained. The ground possibly, though, is going to be against him, and he's very, very short. I think we could get a result here, and Van der Decken was good at the current. The form's worked out at 16s. I think he could be one for the bookies.
Johnny, what about Lundy? Because obviously you're a massive Dundalk fan, aren't you? Were you there the night that Caravaggio beat Lundy? It was only length and 3/4, and one's 2 to 1, one's 16s.
Yeah, but Lundy was beaten at Nace last time behind Peace Envoy. I'm involved with a horse with Johnny Levens. He ran Bective in the race, who went in as a 66 to 1 shot. Wasn't beaten that far, and Bective actually runs. It's going to be a massive price. I don't think Lundy would be nearly good enough.
OK, fair enough. Right, we move on. 3:40, the King's Stand. Another wide open race. I'll tell you what, I was talking to someone this morning just about the difference between this and Cheltenham. At Cheltenham, of course, you have all these Willie Mullins hot pots, don't you? And if they all win, that basically shapes how the week goes. It's much more open, isn't it, this week, Nick? You've got the ground imponderables as well. It's a tough old week, isn't it? And the King's Stand, yet another tricky one. Or do you think the Fav is a good thing?
Yeah, I do. I really like Mecca's Angel, and I think the 20 mils they had on Friday night, I think Michael Dodds would have absolutely loved that. The amount of times he has to pull his horse out because the ground's not suitable for it, but for once it's rained on him and it's absolutely perfect for Mecca's Angel. Slightly unlucky, I thought, last time behind Profitable, and it was a seasonal reappearance, so she might get more out of that run than Profitable would do. And yeah, all things being equal, I think she will win. If there's one at a bigger price, Pearl Secret has only beaten the length in this race last season on good to firm ground. He doesn't mind a bit of dig, and ran well in the Haydock race too to finish fourth, so he's one for me at a big price. But Mecca's Angel, anywhere 5 furlongs soft ground, I think she takes an awful lot of beating.
Johnny?
Yeah, I guess the question will be asked this week, what Southall nursery winner went on to win at Royal Ascot? And hopefully the answer will be Mecca's Angel. She's very, very, very solid. Obviously, she holds Acapulco on York form from last year. The ground has come in her favour. We don't have much of an Irish kind of contenders this year. I don't think we're going to take this race. Obviously, Soul Power doesn't run. So I'm prepared to go with Mecca's Angel. I think she'll take the beating.
She's been very well backed, hasn't she, Rob Catterson?
Yeah, 5-2 yesterday. She's now 2-1. She's got everything in her favour. She gets weight off everything pretty much bar Acapulco, and she'll probably, at the prices, I suppose, she'll probably be the banker for many tomorrow. But she's very short for a King's Stand. We all know it's a very tough race to win. Favourites haven't got the greatest of records, and let's hope Acapulco does run instead of maybe going for the Commonwealth.
And give us a quick show of betting there, Rob.
2's Mecca's Angel, 5-1 Profitable, 7-1 Acapulco, 10's Moothmere and 14's Bar.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
OK, the good races, the big races keep coming on what is undoubtedly the strongest day of the week. So after the Queen Anne, the Coventry and the King's Stand, we got another Group 1. It's the St James's Palace Stakes, and the first time in 20 years the individual winners, the English, Irish and French guineas, have clashed. So you've got Galileo Gold representing the Newmarket form, Ortad, who obviously won at the Curragh, and the Gurkha, who won the French guineas at Deauville, unusually this year. It is going to be a fascinating race. Before we hear from what the lads say, we will hear from the connections of 2 of the big race run contenders, Hugo Palmer talking about Galileo Gold, and then John Ferguson on Emotionless.
In Ireland, there'd been a lot of rain beforehand. He raced further back in the field, was never quite able to gallop like he galloped at Newmarket, and squeezed through a gap in plenty of time if he could have caught the winner who'd already had first run on him, but the winner was too good under the conditions. So we've got a defeat to try and avenge. I think the ground will be better at Ascot despite the rain coming. I don't think it's going to be anything like as soft as it was at the Curragh. And added to that, we've got to contend with the French horse too. The sort of chink of light I'm looking at there is that the horse that finished second to him first selection was further behind Galileo Gold at Newmarket than he was behind the Gurkha.
I think he'll acquit himself well. John Gosden left Simric in, and we've asked him to run Simric, and Simric will run as a pacemaker. And I think that there are 3 Guineas winners in the race, so the race deserves massive respect. But I think there are 4 horses with a chance of winning it.
It is going to be a real cracker, this one, isn't it? Rob Catterson, what's the latest betting?
Yeah, traditionally it's the race of the day, and there's no doubt about it, it's the best race tomorrow. 5-4 the Gurkha, Aiden's won 7 St James's Palaces, but he's only won 1 of the last 6. 15-8 Ortad, by far the best back horse in the last week. He was 3-1 this time last week. 6-1 Galileo Gold. We've heard about Emotionless, he's 10s, and it's 14's Bar.
Nick, they're all rated pretty much the same. Why on earth's the Gurkha 5-4?
I think it's just probably just visual evidence of that French win last time out. You don't see many Group 1s won like that, and I think that's probably what they're basing it on. But John Ferguson said it was a 4-horse race. I think it's a 2. I think the Gurkha and Ortad are the 2 big guns for me. I mean, Hugo Palmer's a very good talker, but I can't see any reason at all why Galileo Gold should reverse form with Ortad on similar-ish kind of ground. It's not going to be good at Ascot tomorrow. And Ortad won with real authority, and I just think he's just this season he's just been fantastic. He's gone from strength to strength. He's gone from handicap to Group 2 or Group 3, the Tetrarch Stakes, and then he won his Group 1 last time out in such impressive style. It's pretty much exactly the conditions he faced last time out. We know he handles them. He thrashed Galileo Gold. He won't reverse the form, and I'd take him to beat the Gurkha.
Okay, Johnny, how do you see it panning out?
Yeah, again, I pretty much agree with Nick, except for his selection in the race. I can't, for the life of me, see why Galileo Gold should reverse form. I'm surprised they haven't put a hood on this horse. I think keenness isn't really helping him. I know the genetic testing said he wouldn't get 1.5 miles, but he's not really getting a mile, I think, to the best of his ability, because he ran fresh at the Curragh again. Autad absolutely left him for dead. I backed Galileo Gold that day, and I thought he wasn't in the same league as Autad, and Autad is just coming through the ranks and improving. I spoke to Kevin Prendergast before we did this podcast. He quite simply said, I think the horse will win. Simple as that. He said he's travelling over as I speak. He hasn't travelled before, but his temperament, he's absolutely flawless. But I think the Gurkha will probably just have a bit too much class for him. The ease in the ground, I was at Navan when he won by 9 lengths, and he's made, and the ground was very, very dead that day. The day before at Leopardstown, it was soft to heavy, and there might have been a little bit of juice in it, despite the good forecast, or rather the good going description at Deauville. I thought it was a breathtaking performance. I really did. For a horse that was just out of wind and maiden, absolutely bolted up. How far he would get trip-wise, I'd have reservation about him getting 1.5 miles, because he's quite speedily bred in his dam side, but I think he's special, and I think he's going to announce himself as the outstanding miler of his generation tomorrow.
Nick, with a pacemaker, 8 runners, there's going to be obviously temptation for people to treat Galileo Gold as one of those each-way bets to nothing. Is he, or do you think Emotionless and maybe even Zonderland or someone could give him a run?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, Galileo Gold's had 2 really hard races now. He might have won easily at Newmarket, but he would have, taken a bit out of himself. And again, wasn't spared in Ireland last time out as well. So it wouldn't be a great shock in the world if he did blow out and finish outside the first 3. But it's hard to see, something from, the higher reaches of the betting making an impact here. And Emotionless, I couldn't really fancy him off 248 days off the track and on the back of an injury. Wasn't ready for the Guineas. All these horses are match fit. They've been running in Group 1. So he's been in his box.
Just remember how good he was, though, those 2 2-year-old wins. He was absolutely phenomenal, wasn't he? Can you have Emotionless, Johnny Ward?
You could make a case for him, because, if you exonerate him, his run in the Dewhurst, you could have him. It's going to ask a hell of a lot. Not to mind the training performance, for the horse to come back in, I think they'd be satisfied if he finished 3rd or 4th, stretched out to the line, maybe got a little bit tired, and they have a campaign ahead, because he's massive questions to answer coming back after he's won the Dewhurst.
OK, and Rob Catterson, what's your verdict on this one?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with the lads. I think it's a 2-horse race, but I'd have to be in the Autad corner. He's been very progressive this year. I thought he was excellent at the Curragh, and the vibes from Kevin are that he's as good as he's had, and 20 years on from Kevin winning the Coventry, I think Autad will give him the St James's Palace.
OK, 2 brutally difficult races to come.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes 2nd to the SP Fav in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18+. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back, Bruce Millington, Nick Watts, Johnny Ward, and from Paddy Power, Rob Catterson. Are going through day 1 at Royal Ascot and the final 2 races on the card. Always tough at 5 o'clock. You've got the 2.5 mile Ascot Stakes, followed by the 5 furlong Windsor Castle at 5:35. So, if you look down the fancied runners for the Ascot Stakes, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's Cheltenham. Dermot Weld, Willie Mullins, Jarlath Fahy, Nicky Henderson. They're all involved. Gordon Elliott's got one. The Good Doctor, Richard Newland. So there's also obviously all the big flat yards as well. Gozza's in there, load of Charlie Appleby's. Who's going to win it, Nick Watts?
If we hadn't had the rain, I'd say Silver Concord would be a certainty. I thought he should have won the Chester Cup last time out. It was a rare kind of, an indifferent ride maybe from Pat Smullen. He's normally excellent, but I just felt he was in the wrong position going through the race. And, unfortunately, the horse had too much to do. Finished really strongly, couldn't get to the front 2. That promised much. And, this is a horse that I've loved over jumps, but I don't think he's ever going to prosper over jumps because, the ground in the middle of winter in Ireland just doesn't suit him at all. I think although there has been rain here, it's good to soft in places. I think that in June at Royal Ascot is going to be different from Leopardstown on Boxing Day. I think he'll just about handle it.
The only trouble, isn't it? A lot of it is on that round course, and we all know just how much softer it is on the round than the.
I know. My confidence has been reduced, but I just think he should have won the Chester Cup last time out. I think he'll just about handle it, and when he gets on that home straight, it's always a bit quicker on the home straight than it's on the round course. Hopefully it won't inconvenience him too much. I do really like this horse. I think he's got a lot of potential as a flat stayer. And, Dermot Weld, when he brings one over, he hits the mark, as we saw again at Epsom recently.
We certainly did. What about you, Johnny Ward?
Yeah, yet again, I agree with Nick. And you were talking, Bruce, about the jumping kind of theme to this race. The last 6 trainers to win it, Willie won it twice. Charles Burns, John Joe, Nicky Henderson, David Piper, the other winners of the race. So that shows you the trend coming into the 2016 renewal. And here's another stat for you. Dermot Weld. His last runners, and this is in the order of how they finished: second, first, second, first, 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 second, second, first. Only one of them was odds on, and none of them actually included the Derby winner. So what unbelievable form he's in. And okay, Nick does make reservations about the ground, but I think Silver Concord might just get away with it. It's almost sacrosanct that he could criticise Pat Smullen for anything, even if he may be right or wrong on this occasion. I think the horse has every chance. For a Dan Silly, he stays very well.
Okay, anything at long price, chaps, grab you? You can get a shock here, can't you? Watsy? Or you just only got eyes for Silver Concord?
It'll be interesting to see all the Charlie Appleby horses. They're all ex-John Ferguson horses who've been running over jumps over the winter as well. Maybe the one out of them, he's a massive prize, Double Carpet. Kiwi used to be a very good horse in Ireland. Yeah. He's been kept on the go during the winter. He'll like the ground, but no, it's all about the Concord for me.
Johnny Ward, a quick word for Jenny's Jewel, who I almost paid my mortgage off on at Punchestown when she couldn't quite hold on at a massive price. She's been well back. She got half a chance?
She has, at a price I'd give Montali a mention because he's by Yates, but in terms of Jenny's Jewel has been one of these mares that they've tried to get into foal, and I believe she hasn't come in foal again. I think that's news that broke this morning. She just has difficulties in that regard, but I was at the Curragh the last day. She was very convincing in the way she did it. For someone like Jarlath Fahey to have a winner of Royal Ascot would be great, and I think she probably will get the trip. She's good form over staying trip, over hurdles. Maybe will slightly lack the class off the mark at 93, but she does have a chance.
You're not putting me off. OK, Rob, latest Paddy Power bets and your thoughts on the Ascot Stakes.
Right as we speak, 6-1 Silver Conquer, 13-2 Willie's 2 of Peak Sua and Semper Medici. No Heretic, the Chester Cup winners 8s with Galizzi, 9s Jenny's Jewel, and 12-1 Bar, and it's Peak Sue for me.
Peak Sue, why?
Good 2 years ago, Ryan Moore would have had the choice of the 2 Willie horses, and we know what Willie can do. He's won 2 of the last 4. Ryan's been on both of those winners, and horses for courses.
Jolly good, 5.35. The 2-year-old's dashing up over 5 furlongs. It's the Windsor Castle Stakes, and Rob will stick with you for some betting.
Right, the American duo Drafted It and Big City Dreamin', they both won over 4.5 furlongs at Keeneland on their only start there. They're the market leaders, obviously doubts about the ground. Mr. Trader for Darren Bunyan, Pat Smullen on board. He was second to Caravaggio at the Curragh. He's got an entry in the Phoenix Stakes. He's 8s from 10s, 12s Batash, Kanani, Tomley, and 16s Barbuda. Mr. Trader's been back in the last couple of hours.
OK, tough one this, Nick.
Yeah, it'd be Batash for me. Charlie Hills's horse did everything wrong at Bath last time. He drifted in the betting, so not much. It looks though not much was expected of him. He reared up in the stalls, and you thought, God, what's going to happen here? But he actually travelled all over these horses at Bath, and he won so easily. And the third horse, Miss Time, horse of Mark Johnston's, won 2 races since then, so the form stands up. I think he's got a cracking chance. OK, Johnny, what's your view?
I'm surprised that Pedestal is such a big price. I was there when he won at Tipperary. The form has worked out nicely because he's trained by Aidan, and Joseph, who trains the third, Justice Frederick, and went on to win nicely at Gorn when stepped up to 7 furlongs last time. I thought this horse looked extremely green. It was only his second start, and he looked like a horse that was actually making his debut. But I thought there was a lot of ability there, and Shamie Heffernan, I think he smacked him once. He strode out nicely to the line despite kind of edging to the stand side. Paddy Power actually top price in this horse at 16-1. I think there's a fair case to be made for him to give Aidan O'Brien back-to-back winners in the race. Washington DC haven't won it last year.
You don't want a 16-1 Ryan Moore winner at Royal Ascot, Rob, do you?
Not after Peak Sue winning, no.
Well, and particularly, I mean, if he wins the first 2, everyone perms them up, don't they? So you wouldn't really want that to win. Who will win, Rob?
Yeah, it's a wide open race. I couldn't have the American too. So Mr. Trader, as I said, good support. Be great for Darren Bunyan to have a winner. I presume it's with his first Royal Ascot runner, Pat Smullen, on board, and he's probably got as good a form in the book as anything else.
Johnny, how many Irish winners will there be on day one, do you think?
What a day's racing, Bruce. I mean, you're saying it's the best day. It seems like Cheltenham on a Tuesday. What would we settle for? We'd settle for 6. How about that?
Not too greedy then, no. Well,
yeah.
Where are you flawed? I mean, you've got a strong hand in so many of these races, haven't you? 6 isn't out of the question, is it? Oh no, you won't win the King's Stand, will you?
It's probably a bit preposterous, but I think we're going to have a good day. And I'm telling you, this St James's Palace, I don't think Irish racing fans have looked forward to a race for such a long time as this one, because we have Kevin Prendergast, who's either 83 or 84. I know he turns 84 this month. Could have a Royal Ascot winner. He tells me the last time he'd run as a Royal Ascot, he'd a double. That was 20 years ago.
He must be the oldest Kevin in the world, mustn't he? Don't you think, Nick? You just don't get old people called Kevin, do you?
No, you don't.
That's a Brendan Duke-esque comment.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if that stands up to scrutinous research. That it's just not an old person's name.
Scrutinous research, I like that.
All right, well, let's get best bets of the day.
This will not be beaten.
I'd better nip in first and Nick Bilardo before anyone else does. So I'm going for Bilardo. Nick Watts?
I'll go for Silver Concord in the Ascot Stakes.
Johnny Ward.
Go on, it has to be the funk. Psychedelic funk in the Coventry. Bring home the bacon for Ger Lyons.
And Rob Cattermole. Rob Catterson even. Rob Cattermole, blimey, I've got you mixed up with the suave broadcaster.
You have, and to complete the lucky 15, all had in the St James's Palace.
Excellent stuff, thank you very much. We will be back from Ascot tomorrow, where Lee Mottershead, resplendent in his top hat, will be your host. Join us every day for Royal Ascot Postcasts.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.